Are we good on recording? We're good? All right, you guys, this is a good turnout here. Thank you guys for attending it Monday morning. And I don't know if a lot of you guys are, who's using the system currently? All right, we've got about, you guys are using it, about 5 people using it. All right, this system is going to teach you how to actually become a CEO of your business. When you got your real estate license, what did you also become? You are a business owner.
Tell them to mute their.
Stop talking over there. And eating chips. Stop eating chips.
Is that Kevin?
Kevin. Sorry, Cal.
No, that's fine. We're good.
I gotta say everybody to sit.
Let's make sure.
Just text him.
Yes.
Kevin, we can hear you, buddy. You gotta mute yourself.
Oh, I have muted everything.
I already have muted everything.
Yes, you may have to turn your microphone off or just not talk, please.
And don't eat chips.
All right.
We're trying.
So when you got your real estate license, you also became a business owner. So you're a business owner. I've never had anybody be able to answer this question. And name one. How many successful businesses do you know that do not know their numbers? It's the biggest issue we have in our industry, is not knowing our numbers. They don't exist. This is an alarming fact. This is from NAR. 87% of agents within their first 5 years of getting into the industry fail. 87% within the first 5 years are failing in our industry. That is, the only thing I can think of is that's pathetic that our industry is allowing that to happen. The number one reason agents fail is they don't know their numbers. They don't treat their business like a business. They don't know what drives their business. They don't know how to make the same amount of money that they made the prior year. They don't know how to have consistent income. So what's the one thing you could do to take your business? Obviously, you go to trainings to take your business to the next level. What's the one thing you could do to take your business to the next level? How do you go from point A to point B if you don't know how to get to point A? The only way would theoretically be just to work twice as hard and then take more time away from your family, more time away from your kids, less time for vacation. That's the last thing we want to do. We want more time for that. And to be able to make more money, we have to know how we got here so we can go to that level without working twice as hard. So I want to give this program has blown up in the last four weeks. So Gary Keller coaches the top 100 agents within KW. So if you're in the top 100 in production, you are in his coaching program. And in the last 4 weeks, I've had 45 of those agents sign up to use this program. 45 of them, and they're paying for it as individual agents. Every one of you guys gets to use the system 100% for free, thanks to Marketplace. So you guys today, these guys are paying $39 a month to have access to this program. You guys pay nothing. Just think of if the top agents in this industry, they're repeat, they're at the top level all the time. Do you think they know their numbers? Should we not act like them? I mean, if we want to be top and be successful, let's model ourselves after the top agents in the industry. And 45 of them have got on in the last 4 weeks, and my goal is to have all 100 of them on there. And a huge amount of Matt's coaching clients are now on this program as well. Diana, and I just had lucky enough to have a call with Diana last week, because all of her agents are switching from their current platform to this platform, and she's wondering why, what's going on. So this system has so much validation for it. Again, it's free for you guys. And this was Gary Keller at Mega Camp last year. Give yourself a 25% raise just by tracking your numbers and knowing your numbers. You'll automatically increase your business by 25%. Just by being aware of what's going on inside your business, you'll increase your production in your business. So, are you guys familiar with Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad? And this is such a crucial diagram here. There's 4 ways to generate income in the world, according to Robert Kiyosaki. You're an employee, you're self-employed, or 3 and 4, you're a business owner, or 4, you're an investor through investments. Why is that so important? Because 95% of the population operates on this side, and they own 5% of the wealth. 5% of the population operates on this side, and they own 95% of the wealth. Keller Williams systems and models are designed to fit this side of the cash flow quadrant. Traditional real estate companies operate on this side. They treat you as an employee, their brand, they market everything, and then you're just basically the sales rep for their company. That's great, it's easier. That's why 95% of us live on this side, but we're gonna limit our wealth potential by sticking to that side. Until we start operating our business like a business and become a business owner, we're gonna be stuck in the 5% wealth side. Why would we not open up all of these avenues, treat it like a business? That's when you make the most amount of money in your real estate career. And then investments is profit share. So they tap right into 3 and 4. So reunion's coming up, and I wanna talk about, imagine you had a training at 1 o'clock and there was 2 trainers. There was one guy that did $2 million in this store, and he netted $250,000. And there's a guy over here that did $500,000, and he netted $250,000. Who would you rather go see? Right here. He's running a smart business. You want to go to the guy that's running a great business, not the guy that's doing all the volume, all the production, because if they're not netting the most amount of money, they're running a very inefficient business, and that's the last thing we want to model ourselves after. The MREA book. So I've been with KW for a little over 10 years. This is all I know. Before this, I was in a car dealership doing accounting work. So everything in this program is 100% modeled after the Red Book, the MREA book, Systems and Models. Do we all agree if we implemented what this book teaches us, our business would be better, we'd make more money? Now you just take this book, everything you learn here, the system basically brings it to life for you to utilize. All right, so as real estate agents, I've worked with them for 10 years, things need to be easy and visual. Otherwise, they're not going to use it. If it's not easy, if it's not visual, we're high D, high I, 90% of us. If it's, then we're not going to use it. And that's why this system has taken off, is especially this year, because it's been completely simplified. There's only 3 things that you do inside this system. If you can do these 3 things, the system will take care of everything else for you. If you can do a business plan, which we should all have a business plan. We're business owners. We should have a plan. Imagine opening up a restaurant and not having any plan and just going and flipping burgers and trying to make money. You spend months researching how much inventory do we need? What do we do? Where do we put prices at? And in our industry, we seem to do this backwards. We go get our license, we go out there and try to get sales and all this stuff, and then we try to figure it out after. I'll figure out how to run the business. I'm going to go make them. No. You shouldn't even be allowed to go on a listing appointment until you have your business plan done that tells you why you're going on those listing appointments, etc. And truly treat it as a business. This takes you 20 minutes a year maximum. It'll probably take you 5 minutes to do. And then you're done. So step 1, you only do once a year, you're done. The next one is the most important piece, and this is where you enter in your contracts into the system. It should take you 30 seconds to do a contract. If it took you a minute, if you did 100 contracts, you're looking at 50 minutes of your entire year of putting in data. So if it was a minute, it would be 100 minutes a year. That's why it's so simple, because you're not in this thing hours a week, hours a day. It's simply 10 to 15 minutes a week of just putting in your contracts. If you took 10 listings this week, you're looking at 5 to 10 minutes of work of putting in that information. The third piece is, and I would never say optional, but technically you could get by. The system would do everything for you still, but entering in your daily lead generation activities. What did you do today for lead generation? And that takes you 30 seconds a day. And that's all you do inside the system. If you have a team, the lead generation is done right on your phone. You just punch in your numbers and it funnels into the system. Eventually I'm going to open that up to individual agents as well. So you just punch in your numbers on a daily basis. You can punch them in 5 times a day if you want to. Just punch it in and everything else is going to take care of itself. You're going to have every conversion rate in your business. So the lead generation asks you how many hours did you spend lead generating today? How many contacts did you make? How many listing appointments did you set? How many did you hold? How many buyer appointments did you set? How many did you hold? And if you do that, you'll have every conversion rate from how many hours it takes you to set an appointment. When I set an appointment, to get a contact. When I get a contact, to getting an appointment set, to getting it held, to getting it signed, to getting it closed. Imagine knowing those conversion rates. Would that be powerful to your business? If you want to make an extra $50,000, you don't want to work twice as hard to do that. You just wanna say, well, I kinda suck at this, maybe if I got better at that, or I'm really good at this, I can emphasize more of my business on that section. If you don't know those conversion rates, you can't improve it. You don't know what you need to do. This system's gonna track it all for you and spit it out all visually for you. So this is what the new system looks like. It's just 1, 2, 3, business plan, enter in your contracts, enter in your lead generation activities. Now, this system has 2 other aspects to it. When it initially rolled out, all it was a training center for brand new agents, but it's a complete roadmap for you brand new agents. And then there's a transaction checklist in there if you want to utilize that as well. It's totally optional. All you do is 1, 2, 3. If you do that, it's going to kick out all of these reports for you. You're going to get a financial statement automatically generated for you. You're going to know your business and where it's going, where it's coming from. It's going to generate you a visual business plan. It's going to generate you an electronic whiteboard. How many of you guys have whiteboards in your office right now? Can you update them? There's an electronic version of this. People are putting up TVs all over the country right now and just putting this thing up here because when you enter a contract in here, it updates the electronic whiteboard instantly. Business GPS. This is, and it's not on the screen here, but it's really cool. It's January 1st and then it's December 31st. When you do your business plan, you set your destination for the year. Just like when I was traveling here today, I set my destination to your office. It told me when I was going to arrive and it told me about any road construction or whatever. You have the same thing in your business. January 1st, December 31st, this little needle moves every single day, and then your little guy moves as well, and you can see if you're ahead of pace or behind pace. That's crucial to hitting your goals. Your taxes are calculated inside the system as well. You can choose your tax percentage, and it will calculate all of your taxes for you. Cash flow. How important is it to know cash flow in a business? How much money is coming in this week? How much is coming in next week? How much is coming in the following month? A lot of people operate their cash flow by, well, I look in the bank and see how much money I have in there to know if I'm doing all right or not. And that's scary how many people truly do run their business that way. Here, you're going to be able to always look forward at your business and be proactive versus reactive. Scripts are included. 4 conversations. This is a maths coaching tool. I'll show you that. A 411 automatically generates all of your business portion of your 411. If you have a team, up to 30 team members and soon to be up to 60, you can track every one of your team members has their own individual scorecard so you can see exactly what they're doing. Leaderboards for your teams. All of your lead sources are automatically tracked with return on investment. You'll know to the dollar how much you're making off of every lead source. If you're farming, how much money are you making off of that time and energy you're putting into farming? If you're doing a mailer, you can put your own lead sources in there. All of your conversion rates to your business. Your lead generation is tracked, the scoreboard, detailed trends report, and some other really, really cool reports, which I'll show you. So when you open up the system, this is what it looks like, and it stays clean until you actually go in and put information in. When you start entering in your contracts, it unlocks your key numbers written right up on top. So how much active inventory do you have? How many active listings? I have 9 for $3.1 million, $93,000. This is a number that most people don't track because they use the MLS to track their numbers. Active buyers. How many active buyers do you currently have? Because buyers are technically like a listing inventory, they're just buyer inventory. How much do you have? I've got 15 buyers that I have under buyer representation, 3.8 million, 116,000. That's much like a listing, except they don't have a sign in their yard. But when you take somebody under buyer rep, you can put them in there as an active buyer, put their contract date that they put in there, and you know what you have. What do you have pending right now? Units, volume, GCI. Closed. What have you closed? What is your cost of sales and the percentage? Your expenses, your 1099 income, your net income, what are your taxes, and what are your net after taxes? So when I say the number one reason agents fail is they don't know their numbers, how many agents do you know that kind of live off of their GCI and their volume? $370,000. So if I start living a lifestyle around that number, and then I see, wow, I'm actually only taking home $99,000. I'm going to get in trouble real fast. And I've seen it happen to a lot of people. They don't understand what they're actually netting, what they're making. And that's why not knowing your numbers is such a painstaking thing that don't let that happen to you. If that's the number one reason agents fail, why would you ever take that risk of letting that be why you fail? Especially in this system where you only do 3 things. The other thing it has down here, and this is a screenshot from October, is your live income breakdown down at the bottom. January through December, it shows me what I closed each month, what was the goal based off of my business plan. You can see the business plan has seasonality in it. And then this was October. I can actually see how much money I have coming in November, 41,000, December, 20,000. I can always see forward at my business. So right now, we're in the month of February. You can see how much pending money you have coming up in your future months because you can do something about these future months now. But once they pass, you can't do anything about it. So again, running proactively versus reactively. And again, 1, 2, 3 is all you do. All of your reports are right up top. They're one click away. So your CTU whiteboard, you click on it. There's nothing you do in those reports. You just view them to be able to understand your business. So does that make sense? I'm going to show you what these reports look like, but what kind of questions or concerns or anything that you may have? Holy cow. Monday cloud. It's coming. So, do you think that you could implement that in your business? And I've yet to see somebody actually implement this and say, I don't get anything out of it. Everybody that uses it instantly says, I can actually see my business. I know exactly what's going on inside my business finally. It is something that is so, the industry has dropped the ball on this, I think, that they've not provided you guys with something like this. They're more about selling you leads, selling you all these different things, but not teaching you how to manage your money. We'll teach you how to make a lot of money, but if you don't manage it, you're going to run yourself right out of business. The only of those top producers that go up on stage and make the most amount of money are dead broke in this industry. There's a lot of them. And it's scary that is. So, here are those reports. So an automatically generated whiteboard. This is one click away for you to pull up your whiteboard. You pull up your whiteboard and it looks just like a whiteboard in your office. So it shows you on the left-hand side are your listings, on the right-hand side are your closings. Your newest listings, the address, the client, the listing date, the expiration date, days on market, expires in, the price, the GCI, if you have a team, which team member listed it, and then the source, where did that listing come from? What are your oldest listings? Address, client, list date, expiration date, days on market, etc. What are your closest to expiring listings? 13 Anywhere Drive is expiring within 3 days. It's good for me to know because now I can do one of two things. One, either I extend that contract, or two, be thankful that that thing's expiring. She's been a pain. But your numbers are always right there in front of you. And then up on top is a snapshot of your total inventory. How much total do you have? How much of your inventory is under 20 days on the market? How much is 20 to 90? How much of my inventory is over 90 days on the market? And how much of my inventory is expiring within the next 30 days? Just like a restaurant, how much of my food is expiring within 30 days I need to get rid of? You can see how much of your inventory is expiring. And then on the right-hand side are all your closings. All of your upcoming closings. Address, client, the contract date, the date that it's closing on, the day of the week, how many days until it's closing, price, GCI, and then if you're a team, which agent of the team is associated with that transaction. It automatically ranks it. When I put a contract into the system, this will update instantly. There's no lag in any of the reports. And then your latest closings down at the bottom. It shows me how much pending I have. Of my pending, how much is closing within 30 days, units, volume, and GCI. How much have I closed this year, and how much has closed in the last 30 days. So this report, again, nothing you do on it, it's just for viewing purposes only, because you just enter your contracts into the system, and it generates this report for you automatically. Any questions on this one? We'll go here.
So if I buy a TV, how do I get this report on there?
Okay, if you buy a TV, you can do a couple different things to connect it. You can do Chromecast. It's usually the number one thing that people are doing. Just plugging that in the back of the TV and then that connects to your thing. I think they're like $35. Is probably the best thing to do. Otherwise, you'd have to connect it via cord.
So is that a smart TV? Just a smart TV?
You can do smart TV too. Yeah. Yep. So you just log into the web browser on the smart TV, and then you log into your account through OneDrive, and just pull up that report, and that will sit up on your screen. And then if I'm the admin, I punch in a contract, I can actually watch that change right in front of my eyes. Did you, or was that your same question?
I had another question. So on this report, how you have agent and the source,
Yes.
right? So we're trying to track not only the source, you know, where did it come from, but what agent kind of sourced that.
So individual sources per agent, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
So can we put the agent there? So like if it was Brian and he got it from a sign call, it could be Brian and then sign call.
Yep. So you could, because you can change out your sources, you could put in a source called Brian Sign Call.
We did that, we just, well, we did that, we just haven't,
We did on the source, we haven't put the
but
agent that's
saying you
related
can
to
change
it.
it for each one, each
Yeah.
Brian's SOI, Chris's
Yes.
SOI,
Yeah.
that's what it's saying.
Yeah.
So just, it would still say in the source column then.
Yeah.
It would just be like, we'd have to have like 10 Brian sign call, Ellie sign call.
If you want to have, yeah,
That's
if you want to have it separate,
bazillion.
yeah. Otherwise, the agent will show up here and then you'll see sign call, but if you want to track that, how much money you're making off of Brian's sign calls, it would have to be an individual lead source and in the system.
Great.
There
But
is,
if we wanna track like how many leads just Brian brought in and how many just sign calls, we don't need to see how many Brian sign calls, we need to see like how many transactions did Brian bring to the team, listing buyers?
Yep.
And how many sign calls in general, not
Yes.
like,
you'll be able to do that, yep,
but then we could just use the agent column
yep.
and just the source column.
Yep, and then there's gonna be this new thing coming out here in version 2.0, which is gonna be released to agents fully using the system. There's gonna be dueling whiteboards, I guess we'll call it. Or this will be the team whiteboard, but then you can pull up an individual agent's whiteboard. So you can pull up his whiteboard, it's just what he has, or she has, and be able to view it that way too. So that will be coming in the pipeline. Within, before end of February. Yeah, I've got it down pretty quick, it takes me about 5 minutes to do an update. So when I'm doing the updates for version 2.0, that's why it's gonna be people that are using the system versus, because when I was doing the updates at end of year, I was doing a lot of merging of 2 contracts over, which was kind of like, I took a quick second to type those in, but so that's gonna be how that's, it takes me about 5 minutes. How many of you have heard about sold home boards? Ever heard of what those are? So when your goal for 2016 is to sell 100 homes, so you buy this big poster that has 100 homes on it, and then you mark them off as you go, so you can visually see it. That's again, we're visual people in this industry. You get your own sold home board. So what that does, based off of your business plan, it tells you exactly how many homes you need to sell in 2016. So my business plan tells me I need to sell 150 homes. And as I mark them closed, they instantly plot onto the sold home board. And it puts the address of that home as well. Listings are in red, buyers are in blue. The yellow square is where do I need to be at today to be on pace? So I need to be at 10 today, 550 by December 31st. But based off of today, I should be here, and here's where I'm at, I'm winning. We're in the second quarter of the year, 34 days in, 56 days left. And then you say, okay, well, why am I winning? In the middle are all the key categories. In green, you're ahead of pace. In red, you're behind pace. I've sold 18 listings. I should have sold 15. I've sold 23 buyers. I should have sold 22. 41 units. I should be at 38. I'm only up 3 units, but I'm up $63,000. Here's a huge reason why. My average sale price on a listing is $187 versus my business plan of $175. $185 versus $169. How much would you pay right now just to have this in your business telling you exactly what's going on? Would you be able to like, just pull this up? Where am I at? What am I not doing right? And what do I need to fix? And again, I use sporting analogies a lot, but it's you versus your goals. I know how much the goals are going to score. If I'm playing a football game, just like yesterday we saw, game plans change throughout. My opponent's game plan is constantly changing, and I have to counter that game plan to beat them. I wrote this opponent's game plan. I know exactly what I have to do. I just need to execute it. They're not going to change their game plan because I wrote it. So all I have to do is make sure that I do that, do what I said I would do in my business plan. And then down at the bottom is, again, a live income breakdown as well. Shows what you've closed each month in green, and what you have pending as well. And the red marks where we're at within the year, that just keeps creeping on. So again, for coaching purposes, I mean, if you're falling behind pace, this would be one of the first things I'd pull up, say, well, let's look at your scoreboard. Let's see what's going on. Are you winning? Are you losing? Well, I'm losing. Where are your weaknesses? What do we need to fix? And then we can emphasize your training around those things that you're struggling with. So that's the scoreboard. Any questions on that?
So if I take a listing, like I met with somebody today and they signed, but it's not gonna go live on MLS till next week.
Yeah.
Does that show up as a listing taken or does it wait until it's?
It waits until it's active. Until version 2.0, I'm gonna have a way to migrate those. So I signed it today. Give me credit for it today, even though it's not going out to market, because that doesn't really matter. I signed it today. I did get the listing, so give me credit today.
And the only other question I have is on here somewhere, is there contact school in actual?
Contacts too. There's not contacts on this report. It's just the listings taken, the buyer is taken, but not contacts on this one.
We're not supposed to push me to make contacts
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and track them.
Yeah.
And everybody else does too, so.
There is
Yeah.
contact tracking in here, some massive reports for it. But yeah, this one doesn't have it on it. Any other questions on this one?
Well, just in general, if I wanted to share this with my coach,
Oh, yeah.
how do I
Up
see
on
at
the-
the top it says share. Just-
Yep.
And that'll
Yeah.
share the whole,
Yeah, there's no way to, with team members, you can share just the lead generation app, but if you give your coach access, you can give them view-only access or view and edit, but they can have access, they would have access to everything in your program as well. But that way, and it's web-based, so they can pull it up. The only thing is, it doesn't work on a Mac. Oh, just kidding. As long as it functions all online, it doesn't matter where you go. You can log in at family reunion, you can log in anywhere you're at.
Mobile phone too?
The mobile, the lead gen, these reports you can pull up on your phone. It's not perfect yet, but you can pull them up on your phone. All right, so this system is one of the most important things you could ever implement into your business, but what's the most important thing that you ever do today? Lead generation. So this lead generation, if you have a team, they just punch it in on their phone. Eventually I'll have that for agents. This is your heart rate of your business. This is going to show you what are you doing in all key categories of lead generation. Dials. Now this is a team. If you're an individual, it'll only be you on there. Today, what have you done? What have you done this week? What have you done this month? How many contacts have you made today, this week, this month? Nurtures. Anybody familiar with the term nurture? It's kind of a newer one that's kind of coming around. You're nurturing a lead. So a lead, you're retouching that person, you're nurturing them until they sign that contract.
Where is this one? Yeah.
It's
what's
called
the link?
CTE Monthly on your home page top. Yep.
I know, like, I got that name before.
How many listing appointments have you set today? How many have you set this week and this month? How many listing appointments have you held today, this week, this month? How many listing contracts have you signed today, this week, this month? Buyer appointments, held, signed, and written contracts. And below each category is a heart rate for the month. I mean, if you looked at this every month and just made sure you did these activities, your money would take care of itself. If we don't focus on this, if we don't do these activities, you know what doesn't matter? Anything else. If we don't do this, how am I going to get a closing? You have to do these activities. So if we have to do the activities, why wouldn't we track our activities? I mean, imagine going to the gym for a month and losing 15 pounds. You're like, God, this is awesome. And then you go, how did I do that? Well, I didn't track anything. I have no idea how I did it. Would you ever do that? And same thing in our business. All of a sudden you generated 15 closings and you didn't track any of the things that you did to generate them? That's almost foolish to do that in our business. So now we track our activities. It tracks all of your conversion rates as well. But this is basically looking in the mirror. Am I doing it? Am I not? It's just, the only way you can get by without doing this, I think, is if you're at that point in your career where your business is referral based. But at some point you did these activities to get it there. So if you're not there, this is it.
This is
all your post-its in one area.
Yeah.
All
So-
those high eyes.
As I'm making dials, like, am I putting, I can't see if there's, are those the names?
No, this is so this is a team. So this is showing my team, or Renee, she's out of, but it shows who's leading this month. It automatically ranks every category. So they're putting these up on their lead generation rooms, and then people punch in their lead gen, and they can watch the board update and see who's winning and losing.
So is this something you put in every day?
Yeah, so your lead
You
generation.
do that at the beginning of the year, is that part of your business plan at the
So when
beginning
you
of
do
the
your
year?
business plan, which will take you 5 minutes, it actually tells you what you need to do on a monthly basis in all of these categories.
And then so every day you put in what your lead generation is, in
Exactly.
addition to those other
Yep.
things, okay.
Because when we do our business plan, it asks us for conversion rates. So we can find out how many listings you need to take and listing appointments you need to go on. And almost 90% of the time, people are guessing at their conversion rates. They're just kind of, well, let me use the market average. What if you actually knew yours? Versus being average.
I have kind of a goofy question, but, could you actually set up a 5-year plan?
Not inside here yet. That's not enough yet. It's strictly calendar year, but it does track your cap based off of your anniversary year. But there's not a 5-year plan in here yet.
Everything's been my whole life.
So these numbers are generated then from the homepage, the lead gen activities
Yep.
tab, correct?
Yep. The only things that are not on your lead gen activities, there's not I signed a listing contract today to put one down. Because that listing contract needs to be put into as a contract. Because there's number values, there's inventory, we need to know that information. So listing contract signed and buyer contract signed have to be put in as, you know what, that's a contract. Here's the price point of that buyer, and that way you know how much you have, versus just knowing how many you signed. We want to know the number values associated with them.
And same with nurtures, you just tell it how many nurtures you do.
Yeah, yep.
Not going from the pipeline right now.
And then in the contract part, can you adjust like, so like on a buyer contract, sometimes it's 2.7, sometimes
Yes.
it's 3, sometimes it's 2.5.
Yep, when you do your business plan, you put in what are your averages on the listing side, and you can do decimals. And then each contract, it pulls what your standard is, and then you can override it. You say, nope, we did a 3 on this one, or we did a flat fee, or whatever it is, yep. I'm gonna skip by this one. All right, so those reports were visual, easy to understand. There's no way to make a financial statement visual. It is what it is, but imagine having this. A financial statement is broken, or income statement is broken into 3 sections. Your income, your cost of sales, and your operating expenses. It automatically generates this for you. You put in your contracts, and then it takes that data and it puts it onto the financial statement for you. So what was your listing income each month? And the percentage of your business? What's your buyer income? Your cost of sales, how much company dollar did you pay out to the office? And it puts a percentage here for the year. Royalties. You know, so many of us think we're on a 70-30 split. Well, when you cap, your split goes way down every time you have a closing. So I'm actually at 14% and 3% on royalty. I'm paying listing agents, buyer agents, showing us and that shows me my total cost of sales, my gross profit, and then my operating expenses. The only thing here is you have to put if you want to track your expenses, just once a month is put in your expenses. It has the MRE book, chart of accounts, and then in the drop down it has the full detailed MRE book chart of accounts. So you can choose any category you want, or you can even type in your category. You can put anything you want into the financial statement. But that top section is all going to automatically generate. How many of you are putting your transactions on an Excel spreadsheet right now? How many, when you have how do you guys track? I mean, you put it somewhere, right? So now all you do is you just take and put your transactions in here, and then you have everything you need right here. GPS, so this GPS functions just like a GPS on your phone. January 1st, December 31st. The gray line is the path I have to take to get to my financial destination of $780,000. Every day it plots the dot on here, just like your phone. In red, I'm behind pace. In blue, I'm ahead of pace. I can constantly see there's the first quarter, mid-year, third quarter. And then when you do your business plan, one of the questions it asks you is, what's your big why? Why do you do this? Because if you're doing it strictly for the money, you're gonna burn out. There has to be a higher reason that you're doing this. The other reason why we ask for that is because this big why is gonna show up in little spots throughout the program, like your GPS. Because if you find yourself all of a sudden trailing and falling way behind, then you have to look at this, be like, you know, my financial goals, if I don't hit those, I'm probably not gonna be able to take care of my kids' college and take that family vacation this year. So it's something to pick you up, to motivate you to, I gotta get back on track, otherwise I can't take care of what really matters in my life. And that's what that big why is there. And it'll tell me my current destination is 781,000. So your GPS, just like your phone, it tells me when I was gonna arrive here today. You know right now, it would tell you, if you stay at your current pace, you're going to make so much. So it'll tell you every single day that updates. You'll always know, okay, if I stay here, that's where my destination is. And Gary Keller always talks about you have to think with the end in mind. You have to think with the end in mind. And that's why these numbers are here, so you can see the result of your activities that you're doing. Cash flow. This is a detailed report that you can pull up and you can see your cash flow. So any month, I'm looking at April. I can pull up April, it shows me when did my closings come in, how much money. Green is closed, blue is pending. So you can pull up your month of February right now and see exactly when your money's coming in. And it shows you how much GCI total, and then it says of that, how much are you never going to see because it's going to be cost of sales, and how much are you going to net. How much you can put into the bank on that day, and then a cumulative total down at the bottom. And you can pull up any month throughout the year, so you can see exactly when is your money coming in. All right, so again, you're the CEO, you're running a business. Do you think Google knows where their money's coming from? They monitor that so much. Is this working? Is this not? Imagine pulling up this report for your business. All of your lead sources are automatically tracked with return on investment. Where are your listings coming from? Farming is my #1 lead source. I've listed 13 homes. I've sold 10. I've made $81,000 off of farming so far this year. And then it takes it a step farther and shows me the entire year, when did I make my money off of farming? Because January I made $4,500, 0 in February, 44 in May, and then bam, 26,000 in April, 30,000 in May. So all that hard work I was doing here with my farming, I'm starting to see it actually work, and now it's paying off. So that's something I'm going to keep doing because it's working. Red light, green light. Every one of your lead sources, you see exactly how much you're making off of it, and how is it trending. Is it still working? Is it not? Because if we're investing time and money in these things and they're not doing what we need them to do, we need to rethink what we're doing. Either stop doing it or change our strategy with it if the money's starting to die. So it automatically ranks all of these, and you can see to the dollar how much you're making off of every one of your lead sources. Any questions on this one?
So are you seeing or starting to see people that have accountants doing their books, changing over to using this somewhat?
No,
or just transferring the...
What they do, so if they have an accountant doing their stuff, is they give their accountant access to this, so then she just goes in once a month and puts their expenses in, and that's all. Yep. Yep, but if you're using QuickBooks, you're probably still going to use it or have it over there, but this is going to be, because this is so much more than QuickBooks. This is these are all your lead indicators, because QuickBooks is going to be all lag, what's my results? We need to know what's going on now. Yeah. Yep. So listings, and then also on the buy side, where are my buyers coming from? Again, I'm running a business. Come next year, do I not want to know where my business came from last year? Because I'm probably going to have to go back there and get more business, and I want to know what worked last year, what didn't work, what can I rethink. Imagine just having all of these things at your fingertips. Too much. We think of how do I just get through this month and get through this year in this industry. If we're going to make it, you've got to think career, not that year mentality. Imagine 10 years from now you're in the business. Would you die for this information? But if you got to open up your thinking to be that career vision. I mean, I'm going to be in this thing for 10 to 20 years. Why would I not take 5 minutes a week put this information in and let it tell me what's going on inside my business.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Like on the tracking for these?
Yep.
Like ours, it says past client referrals listed 0 to sold. Does the listed side change as you sell, close?
So I've actually got a couple of those on here as well. So I've got Google, I've listed 3, but I've sold 4. It's telling me this year how many have I listed and how many have I sold. So you probably have a listing date
Okay.
from a prior year is why it's, so I've only listed 3 this year, but I've sold 4 from a prior.
Is that coming from my business?
Yep, when you do My Business, it asks you, and when you enter in your contracts, it yells at you in red, hey, we need this information. Now, you're 1 month in, the return on investment report, you're not gonna see anything on until you actually close a contract, because you don't get paid, you don't get your return on your investment until you get the closing. So they won't show up on this report until it actually closes. Leaderboards for teams. And you know, this is nice in Minnesota. I was traveling and training. This is the 91 Twins roster here. So active, pending, and closed. Who has what active on the team? So Kirby Puckett's got 1, listing 1 buyer, GCI. How much is his? How much is mine? Who's got what pending and who's got what closed? Just a real quick leaderboard you can pull up for your team. Individual team member scorecards. So I'm actually going to jump into the program here if I can. Get a demo account somewhere. Yeah, a little slow since we can get it punched out like that. My computer was not gonna work here, so I'm using somebody else's here. Thank you. All right, so what was I actually jumping on to show you guys?
Individual teams.
Oh, team scorecards, yes. If I click on team scorecards, so I can see, if I'm running a team, I can see exactly what each of my team members is doing. So this table is set up here. They just try this one more time, I think I might bottom the internet down a little bit. That's every office. It's tough to get a ton of users on here. I guess I'll go back to the presentation. So if you have a team, you can pull up individual team member scorecards. So Renee is a listing agent. I can see exactly what Renee has done every single month in all categories. How many hours she spent lead generating, contacts per hour, contacts made, contact to appointment, how many listing appointments she set, held, and took. Then what did she write, what did she pen, what did she close, every single month in all categories. You can see how much active business she has, what has she done in the last 30 days, and her income as well. So I can see exactly how much money she's made every single month, and her little red line is her business plan goal as well. So I can see all of those numbers on that report. Well, I might, for demo purposes, grab my cell phone, just jump on the hotspot, so we don't have any lag. Again, in the system, there is no save button. Everything you do is constantly saving. So here's an example. This is a team, I forget where, I think they're Carolina, but I just take their data all the time because they're always up to date on it. It shows me all of my key numbers, and all of my reports are 1 click away, right up on top. So if I want to go look at my whiteboard, we'll see if this works. If it doesn't, I'll grab my phone. I think this is low, but it shows me all of my newest listings, my closings. If it was a widescreen, it would show it. All of my oldest, all of my closest to expiring, all of my numbers right there on my whiteboard, just 1 click away. Go to my sold home board. And I can color code it by team member as well, which I have turned on here, so you can color code it.
How do you do that? Yeah.
You,
Shiny.
Alright.
so 250 homes in 2016, we've sold 12, 238 left. Color code by agent is on the right. Toggle.
Hey.
So I'm right on pace. So by February 29th, we need to be here, March 31st, and so on down the line. But right now, we're right on pace. So I'm gonna go, yeah. I want to talk about the training center, which I didn't as well. But the training center is everything that you need, your business foundation, all of those things that you need to get set up properly to be able to implement any of that advanced training. So it shows you exactly how to do it. You click on it and the video pops up, shows you how to do it, you mark it complete, and you move on down the list. This is your foundation. The reason we use the word foundation is because we're in the real estate or in the business of real estate. If you build a home and you don't have the foundation, you can't build story 2, or it's going to crumble. And most of us kind of have done that because we didn't know what our foundational pieces should be in place. And then we go to trainings, we learn these cool things, and then we try to implement them, and it's like, well, we don't have that set up yet, so I can't implement it, so then it's 2 steps forward, 2 steps backwards. All of that is right here, you just follow this roadmap, get that set up, your listing presentation, your buyer presentation, your app, how to market it, setting up your
So right there, number 1.
So Ursula is a 7th level agent, she doesn't do anything, so she puts 0. So you put what that lead agent is responsible for on the team,
Yep.
and then all of your team members down below, and then it's going to accumulate the totals for the team in the middle.
Yeah, so we got that number to equal,
Okay?
but our appointments are off. Like, it's not the way it was when we had it just under 1 before.
Okay, so let me just go through this here real quick, and I may have to take a peek at yours. So the business plan, I'm going to change it back to individual because I want to keep this simple. Teams gets a little more in depth, but if you're an individual, it's going to have some numbers on here. All you do in the system is you do 4 things. You put in your name of your company. Are you an individual? Your big Y, your estimated taxes, your company dollar split, your cap, your anniversary month, your royalty, and then your anniversary month. Now all you do is these little red triangles, that's all you input. Put your name. How much GCI do you want to make? Where's that going to come from? So let's say I want to do 150,000 in GCI. Where's it going to come from? Well, 50% for listings and 50% for buyers. Put in your average sale price. What's your commission rates? I think you guys are 3.3. Referral income. And then it's going to tell you exactly how many listings you need to sell and how many buyers you need to sell to make $150,000 in GCI. Now, I talked about, Gary Keller always talks about, you think with the end in mind. So, 150,000 is my GCI goal. And then it tells me up on top, now I should have done a different account, but it shows me how much I'm going to net. It's got my team numbers in there, I have the team down there. But it's going to show you how much you're going to net after taxes on your business plan. So then you can see what you're actually going to take home. Is that enough money to pay my bills? Versus, sometimes we kind of guess at that. Put in your GCI, it's going to show you exactly how much you're going to net after taxes and everything. But then it shows me how many listings I need to take, how many buyers. You put in your conversion rates from how many sell. 95% of my listings sell, well then I only have to take 10. 80% of my buyers end up buying with me. I need to take 14 of them under contract. And then it goes all the way to the appointment. How many appointments do I need to go on to sell 9? Put your conversion rates in, and it'll tell you exactly how much you need to do, and then it's going to track everything you do versus your business plan. So I'll take a look at your guys' after, well, let's see how the data's in there. So on the business plan, that is all you have to do. It should really only take you 5 minutes to do your business plan. And most of you have already done that probably on paper. Now you just take those numbers and just punch them in here. Now what the system's going to do is it's going to track all of your progress versus that goal. here's my little needle that was talking about on the homepage. I'm right on pace for my needle. So that needle moves every single day, and so does my little guy. I can always see if I'm ahead or behind. I can see my pending income. I got a lot of work to do to hit my goal for March and for April, but I can see that. I can be proactive versus reactive. And then, again, my business, entering in your contracts, and everything is color-coded for you in here. All of my pendings are in blue, my closings are in green, my active buyers, my active listings, everything is in here. And red is missing information, so you really can't screw up. It says, hey, we need this information, because any system you use, the data it kicks out is as good as the data going in. So if I do a listing, it's all drop downs. Then I choose, we'll do active, it highlights in red, and then when I fill it out, it'll go away. So 123, Anywhere Drive. Then it asks me, what's the client's name? So we'll put Tom. What's the source? I can choose right from my drop down. If I want to add custom sources, I go right to the source and I click on it to add custom. So I'll go team leads, the listing date was the 4th, the expiration date, I'll just type in 12-31-16, and the price, $265, and I'm done. So it took me a matter of 15 seconds to enter that in. It updates my numbers that are right up on top, and my home page is all updated about how many active listings I have, but that's all you do in the system is just type in those contracts, and everything else will generate everywhere else that you go. Any questions on that? I'll show you that transaction checklist, but questions on this thing so far? So the idea of the transaction checklist, if you want to use it, is, okay, when you go on a listing appointment, you do a lot of promises to those sellers of what you are going to do that's going to differentiate you from the competitor. And why should you list with me? So you make all those promises and then they say yes, and then you say, oh crap, I got to actually follow through with all that. And if you don't have systems in place to make sure that you do everything you promised, what are you going to end up having? Missed expectations, an upset seller who is going to want out of the contract and who's going to tell everybody about that. So this transaction checklist is just a very simple thing to do. If you have a great system for your checklist already, don't use this. But most people struggle. They just want something simple. So this listing checklist looks like this. You can, any of your active listings will be available in the drop-down. So you can pull it in. It'll pull the listing date, the expiration date, days on market, and then it highlights all of your tasks you can customize. Anything that you do. So my listings, I gotta do, I put take photos. And then down below you say that's due within 4 days or 2 days. Anything in red or salmon is an overdue task. And then as you complete them, you just mark off that you completed them, and then it'll turn it to a green color. So if you had, a lot of us reach our ceiling of achievement of, I can't take more than 5 listings because then it gets too much and too stressful. Well now, imagine have all 5 here, all of your tasks, what's done, what's not been done. You can easily view what tasks you have left to do. So you can take more listings and reach higher levels for your business. And you can put any tasks you want in here, and it basically will go as far as you need it to go. And then you just mark them off. And then the same thing on the pending side. You put pending. All of your stuff that's pending is available in the drop-down. And it pulls it all in. So imagine if you have 5 pending contracts right now. You'd be able to see where they're all at in the process, what's done, what needs to get done. Because what happens in this industry way too much is not only does our annual income do this, but our monthly income will do this as well. And what causes that is you go to Bold or you do something where you're doing a lot of lead generation and you generate a lot of business, all of a sudden you get so tied up in all of those results it just generated for you that you have to close all of these deals now. You have to take all these listings that you stopped doing what got you that business because you don't have systems in place to manage all of that. So now you have the systems in place so you can take care of them and keep doing what's generating you business and just go like this versus you take care of all of that and you're like, oh no, now I don't have any contracts. So then you go back and do the lead generation, get the contracts, and it just kind of roller coaster. So this would help alleviate that. It's a totally optional piece of the system, but I think a lot of people just need something very simple and basic, and that is a solution there.
So under status, you have pending, is that a drop down?
No, so basically, the only drop down's here, because if you change, it's grabbing the status from my business. So if it's closed in my business, oh yeah. So, yeah, I did have a glitch on that. But, yeah. Yeah, it'll pull it, yeah. It'll pull the proper one.
So does it change like color when
Yeah,
it
it
goes
turns,
closed?
yep, it does, yep. But again, in this system, everything I'm doing, I'm clicking and going. There's no save button. It's all web-based. If my computer crashes, no big deal. I just log back into my account and I have all my information there. And I can easily pull up, and there's little completion meters in here as well for how many listings have I sold? 7. My goal is 133. Here's how close I am. Buyers, GCI, and net income. But everything right there at your fingertips for you to see. Even conversion rates. Under the, this will show me, this is actually a team member here. We'll do the entire team. How many contacts per hour do we do? We do 8. How many contacts does it take to set an appointment? 20. Listing appointment to listing held. Buyer appointment set to held. Listing appointment to listing taken, I'm at 20%. That's pathetic. That's horrible. That's not going to get it done. Buyer appointment to buyer taken. Listing taken to sold. Buyer taken to sold. So all of your conversion rates are there for you to tap into. So again, all of your reports are right up on top, just one click away. And you can, are you going to use them all? Absolutely not. But which ones do you like? Which ones work for you? You can use them. And again, people will say, Cal, I just want something simple. I promise you, you will never find a system that is simpler. All you're doing is 3 things here, and then just never leave your home page, and all of your numbers are right there. What's your income? What do you have? And that's all you have to do. And then once you get, because as anything, once you get comfortable, you want more. And that's what the system allows you to do. Okay, I'm comfortable with that. Now I want to start diving into some of these reports and start understanding my business at a deeper level. Again, get better and better. That's the whole point of this thing. It's not to create work for you. It's not to take time. It's to help your business grow and truly treat your business like a business. And that's what this is all about. You get to truly be a CEO. I mean, who doesn't want to be a CEO of their business? And our industry struggles at it because it's hard to do. But now it should be as simple as 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
On the financial report,
Yeah.
if I want to put in a category that I pay, let's say like Mojo,
Yes.
can I then classify that as a
Lead source.
lead, like a lead generation?
Yes. So you can, the full MRE book, chart of accounts are in here. But then you can just type in any line item that you want. So if I want to track how much I spend paying my mother, I can put that in here. And then on the lead source page, I can put mother in there, and then it's going to track how much I make off of her and how much I spend on her.
So can you tell it that your mother's a lead source, or can you tell it that it's a lead generation expense?
Oh, I got you. Okay.
To get it into the categories for the
I
MRA chart?
I see what you're saying. Okay, so if you choose from the drop down, let's see if I can get this thing to scroll for me.
Pay your mom to drive you around.
Yeah.
Classify her as your auto expert.
So it's got the MRE book chart of accounts.
Right.
If you grab anything in the subcategories of salaries and benefits, it knows to classify that as salaries. Now, if you type in your own thing, currently I don't have a way to say, okay, track that as that. Because down at the bottom, there is a little summary chart which shows the main categories: supplies, education, phone, office rent. and then a little pie chart of it as well. And it grabs all the subcategories and plots it into the main categories as well. Now, that's been a request for people to be able to title something as well.
Like subcategories or what
Yeah.
you would call that.
I've got the subcategories right now, but they have to fall into the category, but to put your own in there, I currently don't have that. Yeah,
You could classify your mom as your auto expense.
yes, yeah.
So you could say, I pay my mom this much, but it's really an auto
It's
expense.
in marketing or whatever it is, I wanna be able to choose that, yep. That I don't quite have yet.
But I'm sure he'll go home and figure it out in the next
Oh,
48 hours,
Nelly.
right?
Why wait so long?
Yeah.
We'll pull that one up, but,
See you coming soon on Facebook.
He's gonna do it down the car on the way.
Yeah. No, I need this glass of wine.
I can't stress this enough to you guys. If you take one day in this thing and go and put your information in, put your contracts in, you're gonna be hooked. It's so telling of opinion, 25% raise just by knowing your numbers from Gary Keller. Now you truly get to have, you get the ultimate, I mean, the top agents in this industry are using this, guys. This is not something that is, this isn't, I guess this is the scale. You know, most of us, so if you go to the gym, we're looking for that, you know, that pill that'll make us, no, you have to do the work. And Gary Keller's gonna get on stage at Reunion, and he's gonna tell you, stop paying for your leads, stop doing all that stuff, just do the work. And that's exactly what this thing is all about. It's about doing, there's no magic pill. It's, you gotta run, you gotta work out, you gotta eat healthy. You can't cheat. You can't buy those leads, get 30 leads a month for $99 and expect to make it in this industry. I mean, it may work temporarily, but you have to do the work, and that's what this thing basically is. It's the scale you step on every single day, and it just tells you the truth. And some of us don't want to step on the scale. Some of us don't want to know, is it, how bad it is it? You know, when I travel and I come back, the last thing I'm doing is stepping on the scale. I had to go work out a little bit here, and then I'll step on the scale. But this is it. I mean, you invest 10 minutes a week, and you get all of this. So it doesn't cost you. There's no upgrade fees. There's the credit card and Social Security number when you sign up. Yeah, your first year. But that's it. So before we started, there was about 5 or 6 that were using it. And you can be honest, how many would use this thing now? All right, that's good.
You should tell them our goal, the tech committee's goal.
Right, so as an office, our tech committee goal is to get at least 50% of the office using this regularly, because if you track your numbers, your business will automatically increase by 25% or more.
Go hold us to that.
If you don't get there,
30.
message Kelvin.
But you didn't write that before.
But if anybody wants to even just get together to work on putting in your numbers together, we can certainly set up a time to do that if you need. Like, I know that we're using it and they're using it. If we wanted to just set a time to help people put the numbers in, we could do that if that would be beneficial to people. I think that would be helpful.
Yeah, and I promise you guys, I've never had an email saying, well, you know, I spent a month in there and that's just stupid. They're like, especially if experienced agents will go, where has it been for the last 20 years I've been in business? You know, it's so rewarding to see, you know, you guys run and run and run all day long. And at the end of the day, the dust settles, this tells you what you just did. And when Seth Campbell talks about this playing baseball without the scoreboard on. How many of you would play baseball without the scoreboard? You know, it'd be fun for a while, run around the bases, but after a while, what the heck am I running around these bases for? You know, I need to know the results of what I'm doing. It's the same thing when you're doing your lead generation. Why we burn out on lead generation is because we don't get to see the results of it. Here, you get to see, hey, that's really working, that's really cool, that's paying off. This is actually fun to do the lead generation versus it being that I gotta pick up the phone, you know, we have that negative vibe about it. This shows you the reward of doing it.
Well, just real quick, because in our industry, we see a lot of squirrels and shiny things,
Oh, yeah.
right? And I feel we waste a lot of time trying to figure out, what notebook did I put that in? Where's that file on my hard drive? Everything is in a different spot. So if you, so many agents can look at this program and all of a sudden become really overwhelmed because it's on my computer and there's all these numbers, and Cal's mind works a little differently than the average